All right, so we are August 19th. This is 2023. You guys are getting married how many days?
21. 20.
20 days, so pretty soon. So,
About 30 minutes ago, he thought it was
29.
yeah. Well, anyway, you'll know the date when it comes, and that's what matters. So I want to just talk to each of you individually. We'll start with Shane. Actually, we'll start with Ginny. Just really quick where you're from.
I'm eating my bridal shower cookie.
You don't have it, you can show it. Okay.
Where I'm from, I was born in Tyler, Texas, and 1977. I remember nothing about it because we left when I was an infant.
Okay.
And that's when they moved to, I'm blanking, New Jersey. Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And then very soon after that, moved to State College, Pennsylvania. So most of my growing up years, all of my years that I remember are Pennsylvania. So that would be in State College, that would be out in rural, I mean, it wasn't even really a town where we lived, but Spring Mills, Pennsylvania, and went to high school at Penns Valley High School.
Okay. So let's fast forward to your first job out of the house.
First job out of the house, I started working pretty young. I had 2 jobs. I was a busser at the Whistle Stop Cafe, and it was an actual train car, still sitting on the tracks in Center Hall, Pennsylvania. And my older sisters were waitresses.
This was out of the house? You were still living at home?
Oh, I thought you meant like...
That's okay. I
and
didn't know
my
that
first
actually.
job.
Yeah.
Okay, first job after I left home was at the box office at BYU.
Okay. And then after college, you started working.
After college is when I had entered the hotel world. Hey, Butter, come on.
It's not bothering me.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Entered the hotel world. I was working at in operations at hotels. So
And you did that for
Numerous.
how many years?
I did that on and off until, oh, this is where my memory is just so bad. I started, I transitioned from working in the hotels to a traveling job training hotels, and I think that was in 2004 or 5.
Okay. And you basically had been single for most of that and had boyfriends on and off. What is different now? Like, how come he's not just another boyfriend?
Everything is.
Okay.
Oh no. Everything is. He's so kind. He's so involved. He's thoughtful. I can't even tell you the number of just dates or even short relationships I had where they just didn't bother to really learn about me or figure out who I am. And he's made it his goal to do that from the beginning. So I just knew that he was this amazing combination of gentle and strong at the same time.
So this, having someone else, I guess that's a guy, be that genuinely interested in you, you haven't experienced that much before.
No, I mean, to varying degrees, sure. But like, you know, even down to the ugly parts of someone is just a layer that he reached that nobody else has or even wanted to or bothered to. So he's he really sees me. He really if he doesn't, then he tries to, and so that's very different.
What allows you to share those ugly parts?
I trust him.
How come?
It's just a gut feeling,
Uh-huh.
honestly. You sometimes building trust just takes time, but I didn't even need time to trust him. I just did. I just trusted him. It's part of like who he is, that the makeup that he has. That's just rock solid. And
Yeah.
so I knew that I could tell him. I think it was even like our second date when I told him something, and it was it made me teary. And it was we'd only known each other for, in person, for less than a week. And so it was just very quickly that I knew that who I was safe with him.
What makes you so interested in Ginny? To like, I guess initially what made you interested to maybe ask some of those questions that would allow her to share some things so...
It's confusing. It's a mystery.
If I could I'm staring at a painting. If I could paint the perfect picture and be Picasso and create the perfect woman as a partner, it'd be her. She's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything to me. She's her heart, her passion for life, for work, inspires me every day. And she lives life to the fullest. And she cares about her friends and her family like I've never seen. I told her mom that today. I said, this is her element. She loves this. And she goes, I know. And I said, you know what I'm talking about? And she goes, what? I said, family. It was more important to be with family than the skeptical of the day. It was beautiful, it was fun. But for her, it was having her friend and family. That's the world.
Yeah.
And I love that about her, because that's how I am.
Mm-hmm.
And we just truly care and see life the same way. Everybody, whoever they are, whatever the background is, it's love. And to see that person in her is remarkable.
You have, I imagine, gone on lots of dates as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should go back. When did you guys first meet?
We're old.
When did you first meet? Like, how long have you been officially together?
December 4th.
You had to pick a day probably to call
December 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely have a day. December 4th, 2021.
Okay, so December 4th, 2021. Okay.
Almost 2 years.
So before that, yeah. And what made her different, I guess, than you probably had lots of friends that were girls that valued family,
Yep.
that had fun, that were kind. But what made her?
It's the whole package. It's somebody that inspires you. It's somebody that you literally, and I mean this literally, get excited to wake up to every morning and to say good morning. She brings coffee into me every single morning, and it lights my morning up. Like to start a day like that is like incredible. And to go to bed like that and have that love and that excitement to say, wow, I have this person in my life. And not only am I grateful for who they are, but for them to inspire me to be a better person myself, that's hard to find. And finding that in her was amazing. It was a no-brainer. It all made sense immediately.
So, a few times now you've mentioned inspired you to, like, I guess, improve or be a better person. Can you give some examples, maybe?
Yeah. So, of watching her, even in the work environment, the way she works, how hard she works, listening to her on conference calls. I told her this multiple times. I get inspired. I love her passion for what she does. And to have a partner that inspires you like that, even in the work environment, is amazing. So it's made me want to work harder to do what I want in life. I've pursued new opportunities outside of my comfort zone that I normally wouldn't have pursued, both in working for another company and for my own company to try to help grow it. And she is there as my, partner and my cheerleader to say, you got this, go for it. And there's never a doubt. She's always inspiring, always, and positive, Paul. So positive.
Like annoyingly.
No, it's not. It's one of your best traits.
You mentioned stretching you a little bit, and I think we were at a dinner a while ago, and you had shared something that took each other out of our comfort zones. I can't remember. Was this like an outdoor adventure or something?
Yeah.
Will you share that? I can't remember.
Yeah.
it the rappelling?
It was the rappelling.
Maybe it was the rappelling.
The best video, my favorite video of her, because she was so out of her comfort zone. Everyone was scared. I was nervous. And I
But you
don't-
had been rappelling before.
Yeah, and I don't
So,
get
and that was
nervous,
something you
yeah.
enjoy.
I love mountain climbing. I love rappelling.
Yeah.
That stuff never scares me, but I could see the nerve building up inside of her. But she
You
conquered it.
hadn't rappelled where you had to bounce in and out of a
Like
waterfall,
that.
No, not a
right?
waterfall. Definitely not. That was new.
Do
can't
you
see
remember
where your feet
him
were
asking you to go rappelling?
I would just say yeah. I always say yes,
That was always
Yeah.
even if it's scary.
That was always our promise to each other. Is if the other person said, "Let's go do this adventure," it's never no as your first response. It's
Yeah.
yes. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Let's try and do it. And so, anyway, I cut you off. So why do you like that video of her?
Because
What?
I put music to the video of her, but then I love watching it with nothing, because to see the smile when she comes out of the water, she hit the water, and she came up and was swimming toward me. She had this grin from ear to ear that you can't fake. It was so real and in the moment, and she's just smiling and looking back, and the joy and excitement. She was so alive in that video, and that's what I love, is that we both do that. It's like, let's just feel alive as we can while we're here on Earth, and she inspires me to do that. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Is there a time where you feel like you stretched Shane? That stretched you a little bit, but it sounds like he didn't really have to twist your arm. You're like, let's go rappelling. Something you probably wouldn't have done.
I love
But-
adventures, so
Yeah.
I'll say yes. But and I wouldn't say adventure-wise I stretched him, because he has no fear.
Okay.
He's just not afraid to any of it. But maybe in the land of musicals, I have stretched him.
Okay.
100%.
How about next?
100%.
And plays.
And
plays. I
plays.
mean, the theater. Let's
And
just go with that.
I was pleasantly surprised. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hadn't gone to a lot of musicals and plays.
I can say
Not a lot of artsy stuff.
on less than
Yeah.
one finger how many I had done before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I had never ever done it
Cooking
before.
classes.
We did cooking classes. I'd never done that.
Okay.
And I loved it. It was a blast.
Did you love the class, or you
All of it.
liked being with Ginny? Probably.
It's always about her
Yeah.
and why I want to do stuff, and the fun we have together. But it was fun because we got to meet other people, we got to cook with other people, and it was just a joy. Everyone had fun. We knew we'd screw stuff up, and we all could just have fun and know it was okay.
I like those examples because they're things that you wouldn't enjoy on your own.
Oh yeah, I've
Cooking and
never
maybe
signed up
this
for that.
musical and stuff, and but
Not in a
I guess
million.
because of Ginny, it's like,
Yeah, she's totally opened up things to me that I never thought I would enjoy.
yeah,
And if it wasn't for her, I never would have tried it.
yeah.
I think actually it was in our first month of being together that I took you to Lose's
Yeah.
high school musical.
And actually, the nieces and all the kids' plays are probably my favorite part. And we've done professional plays, right? But to see all those kids up there performing and seeing all of you guys as kids, I just enjoy it.
Enjoyed that too.
It's fun.
Has that been a surprise to you, or something you thought you always wanted? All of the nieces and nephews and their events.
My family's close. We're pretty tight. And that was the other factor too. Is the partner I had in my life had to be close to their family. That was very important to me. So to see. To see how close she is with hers and her nieces and nephews, and how much she adores them and they adore her. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's how I look at my family. They're everything. I mean, there's nothing without family. Nothing.
Yeah. We jumped a little bit ahead. Where are you from?
So I was born in Spokane, Washington,
Uh-huh.
and when was I born? 1975, March 10th. To my parents and 3 siblings.
Huh?
And we lived here pretty much my whole life, born and raised here. Traveled a lot. Skied
What
a
high
lot.
school did you go to?
Shadow Park.
Okay. All right.
Traveled a lot, skied a lot. We're big into sports. Very active family. And then I moved to Seattle mid-college because I got a job as a police officer over in that side of the state. And then decided I want to get into the medical field, so I moved back over here. And honestly, I miss my family too. I was over there alone, didn't really have anybody. So, as I said, family's important to me. So.
Yeah. And so then you've been doing, I guess, talk about your career briefly.
Yeah, so from from law enforcement, I realized I wanted to get in the medical field, went back to college, got my degree, and pursued the medical field, working in pharmaceuticals, working for many different companies in cardiology, psychology, neurology, pain management, and then got moved into the lab space, and did that for 8 years as a director, and then now I'm back into the pharma space.
And during this time, you had been on some dates, just never the right one? Like it just...
No. And it's it's funny because I never fully understood when people would say, when you know. And I never knew that. I had a great relationship with my past, but it was nothing that was this profound. It was nothing that on a daily basis, I get to see them. I can't wait. I'm so excited to see that person today. I've never had that, to where it's that much excitement.
Were you, I guess question for both of you, were you looking for that? Or
I
did
gave
this
up.
was this sort of unplanned?
I gave up.
You had given up and
gave
you were
up.
like, I'm just gonna...
I never believed that there was a love like this that existed. I knew that people loved each other, don't get me wrong. And I knew that people would fall in love with each other.
But you thought for you...
Right. But I thought, I'm never going to find that person that completes me the way that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then she came out of nowhere and blew my world away.
Were you looking? I'm not...
No.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't planning on getting married.
I was gonna say, I don't think you were planning on getting married.
Ever.
Yeah.
And I would look for a while and then get frustrated and just do other things. And it was not top priority in my life. If it fit in, great. But I certainly didn't think that getting married is something that I needed to do in order to feel fulfilled. It was like, if it happens, that means it's supposed to, right? So great, but I'm not going to sit and wait for it, or I certainly don't want it to feel like my life is incomplete if it doesn't happen. So I wasn't sure. I'm in my mid-40s, and I'm not, it's all relative, right? But certainly didn't think that that like finding love and getting married is something that was inevitable, guaranteed, right? So it happens to younger people more often, and I, in fact, I had removed the dating apps from my phone, which I think I jumped ahead to, but because I was kind of just over it, sick of it, and then I put them back on, and he was on both of the apps that I had, and I was like, definitely have not seen this before. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he came from, but
I paid off all the app companies to put me on her.
Yeah.
But it was an exciting find, and Spokane is not really a place where I found a lot of people that I liked to date anyway. So it was like a surprise in many ways.
Yeah. Can I ask, now that you've been together for a while, almost a couple years, did you feel like you had to give some things up, living on your own and
Yes.
having everything your way?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you talk about that a little bit? Like maybe what are some things you give up and what are some things that you feel like you've gained now?
Yeah, life changes as if with a partner. It's just very different. When it was just me and my pets, it was an autonomy that you just kind of get where all your plans are yours, all your, your travel plans, your life plans, your weekend plans. Everything is just, you don't have to ask anyone else, or you don't have to make plans with other people or think about the other person's work schedule, stuff like that. But at the same time, I had already transitioned out of a lot of the travel I was doing. So I did, there is a level of travel that I did give up because of a partnership, but a lot of that I had already kind of moved out of because of my fur babies. So I think what I gave up is nothing in comparison, though. I just feel like the fact that I have a partner to share those experiences with when we do travel is wonderful. It's incredible. There's so much we want to do. There's so much I want to show him that I've seen. There's so much I want to see that I haven't seen with him. So all of that seems like a bright future. It's not like I gave it up. It's just just looks like a twosome instead of just me. It's really nice to actually have somebody to bounce things off of. This is what I'm thinking with my job, or this is, what do you want to do about like the house we just bought, that kind of thing. It was always just me trying to figure out what to do and how to do it and be a grown-up all by myself. And so it's really nice to share that with someone. And above and beyond any of that is just having him here every day.
Yeah.
I'd give all that autonomy up anytime.
Anything you'd add to that? Stuff you feel like you had to give up, or?
Nothing that I can think of that I gave up that would stick out in my head.
Okay.
I gave everything.
Well, we should ask how you met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So either whoever wants to share.
We met online.
Yeah.
Like I was just saying, there were two different apps. One is a female-driven, which means that when you match, nothing happens unless I start the conversation.
Okay.
So on that one, I had initiated and sent him a message.
Do you remember that message?
Yeah.
I don't.
Can you share about that? Do you remember where you were maybe when you got it? Or?
It was, yes. She was out of town in Oregon.
Not yet.
No? Not yet. Oh, you were getting ready to leave.
We started chatting right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We had just had some minor discussions about kind of introductions to each other.
On electronic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And talking about maybe it would be nice to get together, in person, basically.
But let me.
Yeah,
let me
I
share
want
something
more
with
of
you.
that. Yeah.
He's not a flowery texter.
Okay.
No, not at all.
A few words, maybe a period if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And so the chatting online was like, it was nice because there was no fluff and there was no guessing. But it was just very matter of fact.
You get what you get.
Yes, you get what you get. He's not a fluffy kind of.
You're like, are you mad?
yeah, it took me a while. But, so after I initiated and I sent him a message on the one, he sent me a message on the other one.
Yeah.
So.
You realize the same person?
No. Well, I did.
I
I did, but it took a hot second to really register.
Okay.
I was like, is that the same exact
And then we
one?
were kind of like, whichever message was sent last, like we'd respond on that
Go on
one.
that
and
one,
then
yeah.
Kind of we'd respond on that one. And then eventually we went to the phone number phase.
Yeah.
But that wasn't until after our first date.
Right.
So we were still only communicating through the apps until our first date.
What made you want to meet him? Or reach
I
out?
loved, there was something about his face. He has
Okay.
the most beautiful, warm eyes. And
Uh-huh.
there was also something in his pictures that physically represents what I was telling you, where he's got this very tough, crunchy exterior, but then he smiles and it's like, oh, there's more.
So, and yeah, okay.
And one of
So
his
you were
pictures
curious
was him
if
with
nothing else.
a giant human polar bear. So it was like the Coke bear, right?
It was. It was for the
So
polar.
one of his
for the polar
pictures, I
bear.
was like, oh, this guy.
You're like, if nothing else,
There's
I'm
gotta
just
be
curious.
something soft
Yeah.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And it was for Special Olympics.
Yeah.
It was a fundraiser for Special Olympics.
Okay. What made you want to meet her?
Her eyes. She
Oh, both
smiles
eyes.
with her eyes. And I love that. That's one of the most attractive things in a female is that you can see, almost like I could see her soul through her eyes.
Uh-huh.
And it drew me in. And I was locked, hard locked.
Okay.
And then you could just see so much of her personality in her eyes.
So that's what wanted you to, I guess, initiate contact.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably times where you initiated contact electronically where you're like, we're not going to the
Absolutely.
next step. What made you want to go to the next step?
A lot of it was just the similarities that we shared in
Okay.
life. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that the passion for, what's going on in the world, we shared that. We talked a lot about that. We shared a lot of emotions about how bad things have gone
Uh-huh.
in this, climate that we're in. We talked about our love for life and adventures, and she would talk about all her travel, and I talked about some of the stuff that I did, and it was just like we were kindred spirits that just took too long to meet.
She was very
But
comfortable.
Thankfully, we just
Very long time.
thankfully it just the timing was right.
And there was one point where he almost had to cancel our first date, but he was so considerate. He sent me a message. He was so embarrassed that it was a last minute move, and it was because he had to do something for his daughter. And I was like, who's this guy? He's thoughtful enough. He is worried that it's going to be inconvenient for me. He's trying to be a good dad. Like, all of those things wrapped up in that one little message was really telling about who he was. And then I think we also, not just the state of the world and our love for the world, but like, he's very close to his parents, and they're still together, and I'm the same. And so that's so rare, I feel like. And so that was another thing that we chatted about, where I thought his priorities were really good.
So you had a lot of things in common. How funny that you scored points worrying about canceling your first date.
Yeah.
Because of your daughter.
I was like, you're
Yeah.
ruining this whole thing. It's never
Yeah.
gonna happen.
And the opposite was happening,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, I was so worried.
And then it turned out that he didn't have to do whatever that
Right.
thing was, so we
He's-
did end up having our
So you
date.
just got the points and the date, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk about the first date. Who reached out to who to invite, or?
Well, yeah.
Or you can't remember?
It was kind of just a mutual conversation, dialogue about, we agreed that we should meet.
Uh-huh.
We finally agreed on a date and time that we were both in town, because I was traveling a lot for work, and she was just getting back from traveling.
I had just taken a solo trip with Buttercup.
Okay.
And it was just something I had decided, like I used to do. I just booked a little ocean Airbnb in Oceanside and threw the dog in the car and went.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, wait, really? There's nobody else there? And I was like, no, it's just me and my dog. It was a great trip. But that delayed our date.
Our first date, yeah.
Because Thanksgiving and then my trip,
Yeah.
and then we met up.
Yeah.
So where was the actual first date?
It was the
It was hogwash.
Hogwash.
What's that?
Downtown.
A
It's
dinner?
a little
This little
hole in the wall. It's supposed to be sort of speakeasy-ish. It's
Okay.
down in the basement.
Uh-huh.
Food and drinks.
Yeah.
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 Cool
Was-
atmosphere.
Was that were you worried about that? Like, what if I meet this person and we're
Had
very
so many
compatible
first
on the
dates.
phone, but I meet him and it's a total
That's
mess?
happened a lot.
Okay, so
actually.
so I imagine you're both
So I
sort of-
just thought this could very well be
Yeah.
another dud.
Yeah, right? But
But no.
was it pretty comfortable on the first date?
It was so easy.
It was easy.
It was so easy.
very.
Yeah.
And he was just as gentle as I thought he was going to be.
Uh-huh.
Even in the way he speaks, it is. And we just talked and talked and talked and talked. We didn't even order any food.
No.
No. I'm sure the waitress was a little annoyed. Server.
And I got there before she did,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
so I was very intentional on getting there ahead of time.
He's always early though.
Mm-hmm.
And she's always late. So I got to see her walk down the stairs, and she hadn't really seen me yet, so I got to see her first, and it was over after that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was a done deal. No one existed in that whole place after that.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
When did you start to think, gosh, I may want to spend the rest of my life with this person? Probably not. Was that night or?
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't that night. I mean, it was a great great date, and I had a strong feeling, just basically we had a lot of talks prior to the meeting. So I had a good vibe, I had a good feeling, but I think it was honestly probably in our first real trip to Montana for New Year's Eve, where I said I love you. And when it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh my gosh.
1 month.
I was going to ask
I
how
couldn't
long
believe
after the first
I couldn't
date.
believe I said it,
Okay.
and but it felt so natural, so comfortable.
So you
And
haven't
it
said
shocked
that to a
me.
lot of people.
New Year's Eve.
No,
Okay.
it almost shocked me that it came out.
It was an accident.
Yeah. I was like, take that back, just kidding.
Have
Yeah.
you? What was your reaction? Or?
I said, I love you, too. Like, I just knew, of course I did. It was, it's weird because it seems like it was a gradual
Yeah.
thing, but it was only
Yeah.
a month. But there was no question.
And you don't remember like a time
There was no
where
thing.
you thought, I want to spend my life with this person? Because you had lots of.
I
why not-
knew
yeah.
that I loved him, but I didn't know at that point about spending my life with him.
Okay.
We still had a lot more talks after that about,
Yeah.
because I didn't really think marriage was necessary. Remember that?
Yeah, we talked about that. And I didn't either. We thought you can be with somebody forever and you don't have to get married.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were in agreement on that. And that was kind of our next toe in the water, I guess,
Yeah.
of is this really going to work out?
We're.
And we were like, yeah, we can be together forever and not get married. And we were okay with that. And then it just kind of quickly happened. And
Well, we didn't talk a lot about it
right.
for a while about that specific thing, and then we went back to Whitefish in Montana
Yeah.
for my marathon, and we were walking around their adorable little downtown, and past a jewelry store, and he's like, "Do you want to go in? Do you want to tell me what kind of thing you like?" And I was like, "For what?" Yes, I do. So it was just kind of like a spur of the moment thing where we just started to, broach the subject.
It sounds like for both of you, the subject of legally formalizing your relationship, I guess you weren't thrilled about it. So why are you doing it?
It wasn't that we weren't thrilled about it. In fact, I think it was the opposite. I think
Yeah.
it was like, why don't we get married?
Okay.
If we love each other
You
that
mean
much.
eventually?
Yeah.
Eventually, but
Right.
he's asking why at the beginning.
No, I know. I think that it was just, it was, we were both okay with it. It was like, we're committed to each other. Why do we need a piece of paper to say that?
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
It's like, we love each other. We know we're going to be with each other for life.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need something to prove that.
Then it just started to sound fun.
And then it was like, but why not? I know I don't want to be with anyone else the rest of my life. I don't. There's no way around it.
And it was like,
So why not
shoot.
just lock it in and
Yeah.
make it legitimate?
Once you decided to do that, did you feel more committed?
Yeah. And as the days tick, it gets as we
You're like,
we
I'm
watch
more
the clock.
committed than
Yeah.
yesterday.
It's like, oh my gosh, we only have 28 days, 27, 26. Yeah, it's getting.
Tomorrow it's in the teens.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
now it's excitement. Now it's like when you guys run the marathon. You're grueling, you're grinding. We've done more stuff in 2 years that would break more couples than I can count. Marriage, new
Job
job,
loss,
new
job
house.
gain.
We've done it all. And
Selling, buying.
we always
buying, selling.
we always have this saying that we do it together. We're each other's ride or die, and it's been true. And it's been something that could break any one person, let alone a couple. We fought through it like champions, and we laugh about stuff that would make most people cry and be like, "Oh,
Kind of everything that we do just seems like the next right thing.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So even if we didn't see it coming, eventually it feels like, oh, this is the next
Okay.
right thing.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty gradual.
Yeah.
What is something, Jenny, if you want to share a challenge you guys have got through together?
I think less than 2 weeks after he proposed, he lost his job.
yeah."
Okay.
Got laid off. That was tough.
It was really tough. And ultimately, for me, I know I have to cough, sorry.
Yeah.
I know his professional history, and I know all the skills that he has, and I wasn't really very concerned
Right.
that he wouldn't find something. He thought, like, how do I just asked you to share life with me, and now I feel like I don't have that
This would be extra hard for a guy.
security
Absolutely. Yes.
of
That's brutal.
giving that
Yes.
life to you, and it was brutal for him. In fact,
Yeah.
it wasn't even something that he could tell anyone. He couldn't even tell people. It was so personal for him and so hard for him. And so that
Yeah,
was
it's
something
a
that we worked through
real,
too.
you
I
have
was
to
like,
swallow your pride.
you have to let people support you. They can't love and support you if they don't know that you're struggling with something, right? So,
Do you remember telling her?
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were? Can you talk about that a little
my
bit?
office.
Yeah, I was in my office. I got the phone call, and I walked into her office, and my head dropped.
How were you worried about telling her? And
Oh,
worried
yeah.
about, yeah. Okay.
I wasn't worried about her reaction.
Okay.
I knew how she would react. I know her heart. I
Uh-huh.
know where that's at. But as a provider who's always provided for family, that's tough to swallow. And I wasn't going to be that. And I didn't like that. It was very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And her reaction was.
Whatever, we'll get through it. There's this thing that we saw with another couple, and I'm gonna trash it, but I'll do my best. Where she would come home and say, "How was your day?" And the husband says, "I'm at 50%." She's like, "Okay, I got 50%." If she comes home and she says, "I only got 30," he's like, "All right, I got 70." And we've kind of implemented that, and
I think it was Brene Brown, actually. But it was more, yeah, it's more like just, it's a gauge. So there's no expectation that will always equal 100.
right,
But if you only have 10% to give right now,
yeah,
then you let me know, and then I can pull in
Yeah.
that other
Yeah.
percentage,
And so, would you say something that allows you to be so vulnerable with her? You didn't share that you lost your job with many people.
No.
So they don't. But you're just because you just don't feel you just feel so accepted.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about judgment. Wasn't worried about her being concerned about the situation, and that she was confident enough in me to say, "We'll get through it, and you'll get through it, and I'm not going to let you do anything less. You drop, you have your moment, but you get back up on your feet."
Did you feel better after telling her?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And vulnerability is hard for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard for.
to say the least.
Yeah. So yeah, very good. How about another challenge you guys got through? Maybe.
I think just the move and the stress of getting a new house was extremely challenging. We had highs, we had lows. Is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. There's so many factors involved to make it work that it started to become an impossible task.
Uh-huh.
And we accepted that. And we were okay with it because we loved where we were. It was a great home. But that stress can break a lot of couples. And it built us up stronger. And that's what I felt. During all this momentum of all this stress, we'd have our moments, but we rallied quickly.
Uh-huh.
And she's a lot of the reason for that. She's like, "All right, let's go. Come on. We got this."
See, annoying, I told you.
But it was tough. And as a fresh couple, that's really tough. And then you throw in the whole dynamics of mixed family.
Well, we had to move you before we ever moved us.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the whole dynamics of my kids and grandkids, and she fell in love with them and embraced them fully, and them her. It's a lot for anyone to take.
Yeah,
and
that's not a surprise
And
to
then it's just
anyone.
going to work. We can love each other all day, but are they going to embrace her? The way you would hope? And they did fully. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's
It
not a
was
surprise.
absolutely remarkable. No, it was zero surprise.
Yeah.
Absolutely remarkable. And I love watching her with my kids and my grandson, and it just lights my day up. If you ever want to see a big smile on my face, it's with her, with the kids and grandson. That just lights it up.
Yeah. So it's a little bit cliche to talk about people completing each other, but I still want to ask anyway. Are there some parts of you that he completes? Some weaknesses that are his strengths
Oh,
that
he's
you can
very
share?
grounding.
Okay.
He is, because
That's a
I
perfect one for
I
you.
need that. We're
Yes.
very yin and yang in a lot of ways.
Uh-huh.
He's so solid and so steady, and I'm a
Yes.
let's fly to Italy tomorrow kind of thing. but not even just in travel, but just in decision making, in financial decisions, in all kinds of things. He's like the string on my kite, and I saw that once, where the kite still flies, but it's not flying away, right? There's still a string on it.
Oh, that is going to be really hard to beat for you.
I know.
Because you're right. Anybody who knows you, the fact that you led with grounding is going to complete you, because it's great that you're so adventurous, but it can be too
Yeah.
much, right? And so to find that balance.
Home. So.
Yeah. Oof. Good luck. I don't
I
know.
know. But honestly, I would describe her the same way, as cheesy as it may sound, because she's grounding in a different way for me.
Okay.
Because I like to live a very dangerous life. If I'm not doing something that's life-threatening or adrenaline-based,
Like physically?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't feel relaxed. That's, as weird as it sounds, that's my relaxing place. But with that comes danger, right? And she's kept me grounded with that. She's like, okay, this is a good idea, but probably not so much. let's avoid that. Not the best plan. So
No bullet bikes.
she keeps me in check, so I don't do something stupid
Yeah.
and then plastered on the wall somewhere.
That's pretty
I
cool.
told him he needs to be here for a while.
And
Yeah.
I would also say the same thing. She's home. That's we say that to each other all the time. That you're home, and that's the most comfortable thing in the world. No, you can enjoy the travel, you can enjoy all the different places, but when you get home in your own bed, it's like, and that's how I just think about her. It's
So a
just
physical home, an emotional home?
Emotional,
How
100%.
would you, what do you mean by that?
She just, no matter what the conversation is, I always feel safe. She calls me her Skittle for a reason. I've told her things that I've never told anyone. Things that I've seen, things that I've with work, that I can just be comfortable with her to say this sucks and I'm thinking about it. And she's like, all right, I got you.
So, okay. What are,
Not to mention my animals fell in love with him too. That was a big selling point.
And your whole family.
And your whole family is like, I having everyone here, honestly, like, it could stress some people out. I loved it so much. It was just so cool. Your family is so tight. And I said that was a big side. I told your mom that this morning at Candy. It's like, it was a huge selling point to see your family dynamics and the love that they have for each other.
yeah.
It's incredible. On top of the fact that they're awesome at everything that they do, with singing and cooking and art.
Well, I think for I don't know who will watch this or whatever, but for members of Ginny's family that watch this, it's very easy to love you because of what we see. You never met Ginny without you, obviously, but it's been very fun. So yeah, that's been very fun. So you guys have shared a lot of ways that you're alike and some ways that you're different. I want some more differences though. What would you say has Ginny like most different from you?
She is definitely cleaner than I am.
Like hygiene?
Yeah. Well, she's tidier.
Oh, yeah,
Things
yeah.
are at a place, offset.
House,
He's
yeah.
trying to say that I'm OCD about a few
I did not use that word.
but
I did not use that word.
I like my environment clean.
Yeah.
Our home is as nice as it is because of her.
Yep. Okay, that's one way. How about you?
I would like to give him some credit though. I went to his bachelor pad and it was clean.
Yeah.
It was bare, but it
It
was
was it's easy to keep clean when it's bare.
Like, have you heard of pictures?
There's not a lot too clean. But
Yeah.
no, it
Have you
was
heard of
very
plants?
Yeah.
clean. I would say we're different in. I don't want to. So I just love her.
You're trying to figure out how to candy coat this.
She's prefacing this one.
Say
Let me preface this.
that when you think about what might happen, you think about what's the worst that might happen.
Yeah, it's kind of industry standard.
And
Yeah.
it is, he comes by it honestly, and I am. That never occurs to me. That never even occurred to me that terrible thing might happen. And so I think we're very different that way. But that's a good balance too, because you know we're meeting in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that she, because of her, how she looks at life, she always sees the positive outlook in everything and everybody, where I'm a little more cautious.
Yeah.
I have more walls built.
Yeah, all things, you need some moderation there. Yeah.
We're trying to teach him how to truly relax too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just, and again, he comes by that honestly. It's like he's had to be alert and ready and just letting that guard down and just like, that easy peasy.
Yeah.
Working on that.
Yeah. We were doing something, I can't remember what it was the other day. Oh, where were we going? I can't remember. But she takes her time.
Oh, we were going to the airport.
Yeah. And it can cause people anxiety sometimes that don't take their time. And
Hypothetically, yeah.
the other day, she's like, "I'm sorry it's taking too long." I'm like, "I'm all good, whenever." She looked at me like, "What?" So I've learned from her just to chill.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. We'll get there in time.
You're a fast learner.
Spokane is a
But
small airport.
but it's been healthy for me because I normally would stress about that. Like, I got to get there an hour early.
And then his stress would come out in his driving to the airport.
Yeah.
That's where I actually noticed it, because we were driving to the airport and he was just kind of cruising along, and I was like, "Well, aren't you Mr. Relaxed?" To be fair, we got to the airport and we still had an extra hour. But yeah, we're very different in that way.
But she keeps me grounded like that.
Oh, and one of the first times you came to my house, we said 5 o'clock, which means I won't be ready
Yeah.
until 5:03 probably. He was like quarter till. I'm like, what are you doing here? You can't do that to a person who's trying to get ready. Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
ingrained that in me when I was young. If you're on time, you're late.
Exactly.
He always told me that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have there been some traditions you've already started?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't necessarily mean holiday traditions, but for example, the percent one that you mentioned, I'm 20 today. Or,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do that. We also have started a tradition where if the other person comes to you and they're having a hard day and they're, want to talk about it,
Oh my guts.
and kind of going off about the day, then we say, is this a listening day or is this a solutions day, right? Because we want to solve stuff sometimes because we're both type A personalities. It's like, all right, I got you. I got solutions for you left and right.
Yep.
But why
They
didn't you
don't
do
know-
that? Or you could have said that, and
They don't know
that's
what,
not.
we don't always want solutions, right? We just want to be heard.
Yeah.
So we started that as well.
Yeah.
What else did we do?
We every time we cheers,
Yeah,
we kiss.
yeah.
And every time we are falling asleep, we
Mhm.
always do "and I love you" and a kiss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she always teases me. She actually,
And then he puts in his snore guard.
she says it's cute, but she always says that I say "I love you" and I do a pause, and I say "very much,"
Every time.
and that's always her favorite thing that I do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very much. It's the addition.
We haven't talked about the proposal. We should probably
Oh my
document
gosh.
that. Yeah.
That
So
was-
whoever wants to share, you both share.
Yeah, we can all share.
Well, it happened twice.
Yes.
And then we can break down the 2 times. But I got
Okay.
proposed to twice. Who gets that? Not many people.
So
By the same guy.
so did you? Yeah.
Some people.
So
Except for
Now
we
and
had
then.
a breakup in between.
Oh.
no.
And we just had 2 days in between.
So I had this master plan laid out.
He came with me on a work trip.
I guess maybe even I want to go back to what you had decided together that you were going to get married. So now it was just a matter of timing. Okay.
So I had this plan to do it I wanted to do something big for her birthday, but I didn't want to do it on her birthday because I didn't want to take away from her day of her birthday. I'm like, that's her day, that's separate. So I had this big plan the following weekend of her actual birthday.
Are you a planner?
Yes.
Okay.
It stresses me out if I don't.
Okay.
But we've also taught me not to do that, worry about that so much. So I had this whole plan for the entire weekend, but there was so much, like she's gonna know. The second it starts, she's gonna know. It's impossible that she won't know.
He's very romantic.
And I had talked to her mom multiple times in great detail about my plan. She's like, you're right on the path. So I called her mom the morning of her birthday, and I said, she's gonna know. I can't do it this weekend, she'll figure it out. She'll know the second we leave, it's happening. She goes, I think you're right. And she goes, what's your plan? I said, I'm doing
Something
it today.
about a limo would have given it away.
And yeah. And I said, I'm doing it today. And she goes, okay, how? I said, I got it covered, don't worry about it.
It was a Tuesday.
So I called my sister.
You were expecting this anytime kind of thing? Maybe?
I knew it was coming,
Yeah.
but I did figure it would be the weekend.
Okay.
And she knew because we had designed her ring.
Yeah.
So she knew what her ring was going to look like.
For sure.
So I called my sister. I said, I got to pull an audible. I'm doing the proposal today.
Can I ask you, if you went to the trouble to design her ring together, why you still wanted a formal proposal?
It was important to me. I wanted to,
It's very traditional.
yeah, very traditional.
Okay.
It was very important to me that she had that moment.
Mhm.
She's never had a moment like that. I talked to her dad, got his permission. It was all important to me. I wanted to do it the right way. Which made me nervous, by the way. And that's a different topic. So I called my sister. I said, we're doing an audible. They were living in a kind of a skyrise downtown DC. So you can see everything downtown from the top of their building. Beautiful view.
All the
You can
monuments
see all the
and everything.
monuments. You can
Wow.
see the whole city. And I said, I want to do it on top of your building. We'll go out to dinner first. She won't suspect a thing
Which we were already doing for my birthday.
because she doesn't think anything that is happening that we already didn't talk about. And I had already told her, it was just kind of a fluke that I already told her we're going to go out to dinner and then we're going to go up to their place to see their place. So it just worked out that way.
So once
Yeah.
you decided you were going to do it that day, was your heart rate like?
Well,
up
so I had to
rest of the day?
scramble. I got an Uber. I scrambled an hour and a half downtown to my sister in DC, gave her the ring, and I'm like, guard this with your life,
Yeah.
okay? It's insured, but guard it with your life. And I'm talking to the Uber driver on the way there about what I'm doing today. He's excited.
Oh.
I start drawing all
just
these
working.
people in. She's working.
have
She has
no
no
idea.
clue. She didn't even know I left the hotel.
No.
I'm texting her that I'm back at the hotel or back walking around downtown, so she had no clue. So I'm scrambling to get back before she got done with her meetings, so she didn't realize I was even gone. And luckily I made it back in time. And so we went out to dinner and
It was very cute, actually. His sister and their kids and her husband hosted us near their condo for dinner. They got me all these cute little presents, and then they said, you've got to see, the city from the top of our building. So it just seemed like the next normal thing to do. I had no idea. So we go up to the top of the building, and, it's a condo building. So there's lots of other people up there enjoying the rooftop. And suddenly his brother-in-law is pointing out something about the Pentagon. I don't remember what. And when I turn around from that conversation, everyone's gone. And his sister was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take the kids and get them ready for bed and everything, and we'll be back up, or something like that." Which made sense to me. So then they go, and then it's just us.
there's people on the rooftop that weren't supposed to be there. So I was, as he's talking to her, I said, distract her. So he's showing her the monuments, and I'm asking these people to get off the building. Like, you need to leave.
People that you knew?
Well, like,
No,
do
I
you
didn't know.
mind?
I didn't know any
Did you
of them.
tell them why?
Is
No,
it
I told
okay?
them. I said,
Okay.
I'm trying to propose to her.
They were all in.
I want
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
rooftop. So they were like sneaking off.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
cool. And then he said he was going to go help Tasha. And I had the ring planted in a little bush area. And it was right.
Real close to the edge to me.
Yeah.
But So then it's just very romantic. The baseball game, the fireworks were going off, so there were fireworks
Right at the same
and
time.
all the monuments were, and I turn around and he's like fumbling down in a bush for something, and then that's when I knew
Yeah.
it all clicked.
So we did that. That was on Tuesday. So she got to show everyone at work her new ring. which
Was it a
fun.
traditional one knee, will you marry me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't get on my knee actually.
Yeah.
I was too nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
I didn't even notice that you didn't though. But
the,
it was a great little speech. It was
the second time
a
I
lot
did.
of what we were just talking
Yeah.
about.
The,
Yeah.
the second time I got on my knee because I wanted to, but I blanked out.
See, it's almost like he got like a dress rehearsal.
Yeah. It was great. So then that following weekend happened, but I had so much planned already.
Pause a little bit. You said a great little speech.
Mhm.
Is it something you're comfortable sharing? A little bit.
It was
Not
a lot
that you'd have
of
it
like
memorized.
what we were
but-
just saying. No, I don't have it memorized, but I remember him saying all the things that he loved about me and my heart and my my love for my family and the way that we meld together and all of those pieces is what he was saying.
Was it prepared?
No.
And it was just easy.
Yeah. I wanted it to be as natural as possible.
Mhm.
If I
And
read,
then we turned a song on and we just slow danced on the roof together.
and that as another pause in this whole thing. If you ask me one of my favorite things about us, we will slow dance anywhere. We have slow dance in parking lots. We've slow dance in the street. It just doesn't matter where we're at. And we don't care who's watching. We'll slow dance just right on the spot. There doesn't have to be music. We're just dancing. I love it.
You're
That's
cute.
that's my favorite tradition.
You're cute.
That's my favorite tradition.
There you go.
Yeah.
But then he says, you have to give the ring back to me because these other people I made plans with, they don't know that
Yeah.
I've already done this, and we're just going to let them think this is the only time.
Yeah, there's so much planned. I said we're redoing it.
Yeah.
And we're doing it a second time. So she got to experience everything else. I knew from her childhood she always talked about where she was from and just the visual description of the buildings and the brick and the property and horses and
Oh, Pennsylvania.
The rolling hills.
The rolling
Yeah.
hills. The way she described it to me, I could visualize it so well. And so we went out to, her friend helped me find this nice little place to have lunch, or dinner. And so we went there and it was this old school kind of Paris style.
Very French.
Yeah, very French style restaurant. Great food. And then we took the limo an hour to this vineyard. That was exactly how she described to me, with the rolling hills and the horses and the winery and just the buildings in itself. And the owners were actually amazing. They were shocked that we even found the place. Like, how'd you even find us? Like, they were floored that someone was proposing to someone else there. So they were set. They were ready to go as soon as we arrived and they saw the limo pull up.
They have millions in horses. Like, they used to race
Yeah.
them. They're beautiful horses. And when he was planning, he asked them if it was okay if he landed a helicopter on their property. And they're like, well, no, definitely not. We can't spook the horses like that.
Mhm. So we
Horses first.
So when we got there, the gal that was in charge of the facility was super excited to be a part of this whole thing. She made it very special, thinking she doesn't know anything's happening yet. And so she sat us down with some wine, and then she said she wanted to show us the vineyard. So she walked us down, and it was a very special moment. And so then she said, "Oh, let me get a picture of you too." And so that's when I got down on my knee and proposed to her a second time.
Jenny, why was it still special even though you knew you were sort of playing along?
I mean, what a fairy tale. It just was so romantic and so beautiful. And, it all goes by in such a flash anyway, like getting to relive it, just incredible.
Do you remember what I said? What I
You
said?
said, I would propose to you every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would.
Cool story. When, Jenny, since she just shared, when do you feel closest to him? Whether that's emotionally or spiritually, whatever it is. When do you feel like you're close? Besides slow dancing.
When his walls are down.
Okay.
They're not always down. And so when that comes tumbling down, whether it's something that we've just worked through or something that we're going through, and you know, he bears himself in some way, that's when I feel the closest to him, because he's spent his whole life, you know, protecting that, and so definitely.
Yeah. Would you say same answer, or when do you feel closest to?
Yeah, I think that when we're able to see that other person's vulnerable side, and to know that you can do it without judgment, and if anything, that person supports you, and lifts you up and inspires you to tackle that next chapter in your life, no matter how hard it may be. You know,
Yeah.
it was tough going through the challenges with, you know, divorce and everything else, but she always had a positive outlook on it. Always. Never let that be a doubt. And to see it all come around exactly how she said it would, it was pretty amazing.
Let's turn our attention to the future a little bit. This is always a fun question that is very hypothetical, but would you describe your day 20 years from now with her, like what you would imagine that looks like?
Yeah. It's funny, we send each other videos all the time of older couples, and it's like they're 80 and 90 and 100, and they're playful, they're fun, they're loving, they're splashing water on each other in the ocean. We just watched one today that I sent her, but that's life for us. It's just this passion and this excitement of getting older together, and still having that passion for life and not losing sight of that. And we remind each other of that. We literally almost every day we send a video like that to each other, and that's kind of our way of saying that's us.
Yeah. What's something you feel like you still want to accomplish together? One thing I'm gathering is no walls,
Yes.
but besides that, what's something you feel like you want to accomplish together? Maybe you also mentioned sharing some of the places you visited,
Yes.
but
I would love that. I want to see the world with him. He's such I can't think of the word, but he appreciates. So he sees the little things, and he sees the beauty in things that some other people don't see beauty in, and he loves to eat and drink, which is half of what travel is, maybe more than half. So there's just so much to share. There's so many experiences to share, and it's not even just about being there. It's about what you can find to do while you're there. So, you know, like we were just in Utah for a wedding, and he finds this wingsuit simulator for us to do, which was horrible, by the way, but
She was scared, but she did it. It's like you're skydiving with a virtual wingsuit, and you're going through, but you're actually going through the whole motion of it. It's cool.
yeah. So I think things to accomplish would be, well, retiring. First of all, we neither of us wants to work anymore, and that seems a far way off. But we're gonna see what we can do to do that, so that we then have the freedom of our time. That's something we'd really like to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything you want to accomplish, I guess, on your relationship, something you want to work on?
I think just continuing to grow. Honestly, I don't. When I look at where we're at, I don't know how it's possible that we can, but I always know we can, right?
Sure.
We never should get complacent in our relationships. We
Okay.
should never get complacent in anything we do. She pulls that out in me and inspires me and drives me to do that. So it's a lot of things to look forward to in life, but never losing sight of each other first and foremost. And I don't ever foresee that happening. We do it now, so.
This has been great. Do you have any questions? No? Anything else that you want to document that we didn't talk about? We covered a little bit of background, just you guys individually, and
Yeah.
some of the ways you're better together than not together. Some goals, how you met, proposal. I don't know who will watch this, if you guys will share this with other people. And I don't want it to be super cheesy, but who would you want to thank, or what would you want to say to people that are either watching this at your wedding or someone you send it to? It's hard because if you thank somebody, then you leave someone out. So I guess no one
I think
individually.
anybody that would see this would be somebody that I would thank, because I do think we should play it at the wedding.
Yeah.
But I think we have been surrounded by support and love, and that's not just family, it's our friends who are family, because we have a lot of that. And so there's something special about this.
Yeah.
And we hear it all the time from people, and so that kind of lifting up that we've gotten has just been something I never imagined ever. So that anybody who I would love enough to show this video to, it's somebody that I would thank.
Yeah, I would say family, 100%. For my kids, to parents, to siblings, to your family. Everyone's been extremely supportive. My friends. There hasn't been one person that I've come across, and I have a lot of friends that would be very blunt about how they feel, that have ever said, "Are you sure that she's the one?" It's been more than anything. People have said it's how obvious it is. How I have family and friends alike that have said to her many times, "We've never seen him like this. He's like giddy, like a little kid on a first date with somebody for the first time." And to have not just family members say that to her, but friends say that to her, the consistent pattern over and over again, that everyone sees the love, everyone sees the beauty in her, what drew me toward her. Yeah.
Yeah. And part of that thanking for me is just that they have seen me through some really hard things. So extra thanks for that, because this is what I get to have.